I'm not much of a techie. To be perfectly honest, technology kind of messes me up. I don't know computers very well. Computer programming, computer programs, oh my goodness, I can hit play. And I know that there's stuff out there that does a lot of crazy stuff. But the reality is that is not my gig, not my deal. Give me a paintbrush, give me something that's solid that I can put in my hands and manipulate. I can do, but not so much when it comes to technology. See this little thing? This little thing does something amazing. What it does is I can plug this into my DeWalt Contractor radio and then take my phone and connect my phone to this thing, and my stereo will play what is going on my phone. That is nuts to me. Now, a lot of you are thinking that's Bluetooth. Bluetooth is old school. Think about it. 50 years ago, if I had said that I can stick this into my radio and play music off my phone, you all would have thought I was nuts. Technology changes and does so many crazy things. And this is what I find fascinating, is that it gets to a certain point and we not only take it for granted, we kind of expect it. You wouldn't buy a radio now that didn't have Bluetooth. Why? Because it's just standard. I find it interesting. I was on a plane and the Wi-Fi on the plane kicked out. Now we're flying at 30,000 feet and people are whining and complaining because they don't have Wi-Fi. It's like, guys, you're in a 50-ton steel tube flying 30,000 feet over the earth. This is a freaking miracle, and you are upset that you don't have Wi-Fi. Do you understand the reality that you are living in a miracle right now? Something that 200 years ago people wouldn't even have imagined, let alone taken for granted. Now, we take for granted flying all the time. Now, when we can't fly as much because of this COVID thing, people get uptight. Now we're thinking about, a lot of places are talking about limiting air flight and making it all electric and making it be more expensive. And now there's a whole lot of issues. And anyways, at the end of the day, people are thinking we might lose our capacity to fly as much. But you don't go back, do you? We don't go back very easily. Once we become used to something, once we become accustomed to something, that is the norm and that's what we expect. And see, this translated in a relationship with God isn't necessarily a bad thing. And I'll tell you why. We don't understand what God has for us. The scripture says, eyes not seen, neither ears heard, nor has it even entered into the thoughts of man the things that God has prepared for us. And this is what I believe. When we begin to recognize the truth of what God has for us, when it develops, when we go from point A to point B to point F to point K, and we continually grow in our faith and our recognition of what God has for us, the reality is we should never want to go back. When someone says, you know what, this relationship you have with God, if you compromise here, you could lose it. And we should be thinking, I would never want to compromise my relationship with God. I would never want to compromise that the reality of living in a right relationship with the creator of the universe, who has my best interest in heart, who created all things so that he might be glorified and might be glorified through me. So he wants to make his power known through my life. He wants to know his grace, his mercy, his love. He wants to make that known through the world through me. And why would I give that up? And the closer I get to God, and the more I walk with God, and the more I begin to recognize who God is and what he has for me, what I should be saying is I would never want to go back to that. In my life, there was a time that I turned my back on God. And my life went into the toilet. And I'm not going to get into details right here, but the reality is when there's been opportunities for me to go back to that, I said no, I would not give up what I have, God's good pleasure in my life, for something that's secondary, something that at the end of the day is only going to do me harm. God has good things for us. We've moved from the horse and buggy to the jet plane. Why would we want to go back? We don't. I don't know technology very well, but I know my God. And my God says, I exceedingly abundantly, above all that you could ask or imagine, that's what I have prepared for you. Don't want to miss out on that. Hope you don't want to either. Hope this has been an encouragement to you. God bless you. Bye for now.